Today is the disappearance day of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And so we'll sing the prayer to the departed Vaishnavas. Thank you. Sabarshada Gaura Viraha Vilapa. Yeyani lo prema dana. Koruna prachur. Hey no Prabhu Kota Gela Charya Thakur. Kahamora Swarupa Kaha Sanatan. Kaha Dasa Raghunata Patita Pavan. Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Kaviraj. Eka Kale Kota Gela Gaura Nataraj. Pashane Kutivo Mata Anale Pashivo. Gaudanga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo. Se Sabasan Gira Sange Ye Koilo Vilas. Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamada. Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamadas. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Padivajracharya Asasata Shishimada's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Bhakti Siddhanta Srila Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Padivajracharya Asasata Shishimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Anantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gogopinath, Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki, Yamuna Devi Ki, Ganga Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mayapur Dham Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Gaur Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu. We may wonder in this song where we see several of the 6 Goswamis are mentioned, why is not Gopal Bhatta mentioned? Well, that's because he was much younger, just like Jiva Goswami's also not mentioned. So the song was written before they departed, because they're the next generation. Well, Jiva was much younger, and Gopal was as well. Okay, so now Gopal Bhatta Goswami, one thing is that there's very little written about him. We have quite a bit written about Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, even Raghunatha Das Goswami, but very little because he asked everyone not to mention him. In the whole Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the Chaitanya Mangal, he's not even mentioned. And in the, Krishnadas Kavirash's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's very, very little mentioned. Just when he gives a list of the different Shiksha gurus there in Vrindavan, he was mentioned. And very, very briefly, even when, well, I'll tell later, even how, well, Jiva Goswami indirectly mentioned him 2 times because he asked him not to mention him. So he never said his name. Okay, so from the Gaura Gonadesh Deepika, Ananga Manjari Yashit Sajja Gopal Bhattaka Bhatta Goswaminam Kechit Ahu Shri Guna Manjarim. She who was formerly Ananga Manjari has appeared to enrich Mahaprabhu's pastimes as Srila Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Some say that Gopal Bhatta is actually Guna Manjari. Now we all know who Ananga Manjari is. That is the sister of Srimati Radharani. And so he has a very intimate relationship with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he appeared in the year 1500, or some say 1503, as the son of Venkata Bhatta. So this is in
This one works. Here we go. Back in action.
I'm so nervous easier. Yeah, he's fine. He's tolerant.
All right, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Haribol. So, in the year 1510, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was on pilgrimage and he entered Sri Rangam. So when he went there, he went to the temple and he was going and he was dancing so ecstatically that many people on the rainy season and also on Chaturmasya. So please spend the next 4 months here with us. So Mahaprabhu accepted the invitation. Now Gopal, the son of Venkatabhatta, he was just 10 or 11 years old. And so as soon as, when Mahaprabhu agreed to stay, Venkato washed his feet, and then he took the Charnamrita and gave to all of his family members. And when the little boy had the, like he just was overwhelmed with ecstasy, and and he became very attached to Lord Chaitanya, and every day he would serve him in whatever way he can. He especially massaged his feet and his legs every day from dancing and whatever service he can do. And then he had heard a lot about Lord Chaitanya's Navadvip appearance and pastimes as a child. He heard from the servant of Lord Chaitanya. And he's like, and then one time he just started crying. After he gave massage, he was like sobbing and sobbing. And then he cursed Lord Brahma, like, and he said, why was I born so far away from Navadvip? And why was I born after Lord Chaitanya left Navadvip? And now I never got to see that. I heard of his childhood pranks. I heard of his Nagar Sankirtan. I heard of his different pastimes in Navadvip. And I never got to witness them. Why? I know many devotees think, like, why did I miss Srila Prabhupada? You know, some were born just a year or two after Prabhupada left, and like, they're like, why? But that's how fate is. So he was feeling like that, crying and cursing Lord Brahma for allowing him to be born later. And then Mahaprabhu said, why are you crying? And he told him. So that night, in a dream, Mahaprabhu appeared and showed him all of those pastimes that he missed. So he showed him with it, because now he's a sannyasi, and he showed him his black curly hair and his pranks as a child, and Sankirtan with Lord Nityananda and others. And so he was so ecstatic. Then, as soon as he got up, he ran in to see Lord Chaitanya, where he was staying. He was in his bedroom, and he ran in, and then it was not Lord Chaitanya, it was Krishna, Gopal Krishna form. And he saw that, just like Lord Chaitanya showed Ramananda Roy his Krishna form and all. And then, as he watched, then it was no longer Krishna, then it was Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, and with his curly hair and everything, and he was just astonished. And then it was Lord Chaitanya as a sannyasi. So he got so much mercy from Lord Chaitanya. He really showered his blessings on him, and he, put his feet on his head as well. And so what happened was, when he was going to leave, well, that's coming later. So what happened was, when he was there, we all heard about the conversation that Lord Chaitanya would have with Venkata, because they were, he was very learned as well, but of course worshiping Lakshmi Narayan. And so sometimes Lord Chaitanya would joke with him, kind of have humorous talks, and sometimes serious talks. And then this very famous talk that we always bring up is how that he said, he asked him a mild-humored, in a witty tone. He said, "I hear that no one is equal to your Lakshmi Narayan," and both of them. He said, "But my object of worship, Krishna, he has no opulence. He wears garlands of forest flowers, and he uses peacock feathers for decoration. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj, and spends his days grazing the cows and playing with the cowherd boys. And my worshipable goddesses, the gopis, are also nothing but poor cowherd girls. I wonder why your worshipable Lakshmi Devi came to Vrindavan to perform austerities in the hope of gaining Krishna's company in the rasa dance." So Venkata says, well, because they're the same, Krishna and Narayan are the same. He said, well, if they're the same, then why, after she performed so much austerity and fasting and praying, why she never could attain the status of a gopi, never could enter into the rasa dance and experience that? And he says, because he was of the opinion, like many are, that Narayan is Narayana, like we say Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, they say Narayan is the source of all incarnations. So then Mahaprabhu quoted from different scriptures that actually it's not true, that Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, he is the source of Narayan and all of the incarnations. And so they had this whole, this whole discussion, and he's saying that she's breaking her vow to her husband to meet with Krishna, and Venkata's no. And then he's like, I don't understand what you're saying, like, I don't know the answer to this question. And so he said, okay, and then he told them how only by the mercy of the gopis can one, and in that mood, because in Vrindavan there's not a tinge of this awe and reverence. It's just where everyone considers, Krishna, the son of Nanda, he's my friend, he's like my child, he's my lover. So there is none of this. So that's why it's not possible, as long as one continues in this majestic mood of worship of Lakshmi Narayan, then then one cannot possibly worship in the spirit of Raganuga Bhakti. So he actually convinced Venkata, and he and his brothers, well, kind of Prabodhananda, they came to worship Radha Krishna instead. And so now, through what happened was Venkata, his younger brother, because he asked him to teach, to tutor Gopal, because Prabodhananda Saraswati is extremely intelligent and very learned. And so he says, Gopal Bhatta said, I, Gopal Bhatta, the disciple of Prabodhananda Saraswati, who is dear to the Lord, have compiled these most essential and glorious devotional doctrines to satisfy Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami. So that, what he's talking about is the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Now, sometimes it's stated that Sanatan Goswami wrote the Hari Bhakti Vilas and then gave it to Gopal, signed his name on it. Sometimes the other way around, it's said that Gopal Bhatta wrote it, but he doesn't want, his name mentioned, so he gave it to Sanatan. So actually, here we see that Gopal Bhatta wrote it, but then Sanatan wrote a kind of expansion and commentary on it as well. Now, when it was time for Mahaprabhu to leave after 4 whole months, every day being with Lord Chaitanya, he started crying. He said, I want to go with you. And he said, no, you can't come with me. You need to stay here because your parents are getting elderly now, and you need to take care of them. After your parent, and you can't be a renunciate yet. You wait until your parents leave. When they pass away, then I want you to go to Vrindavan, because I want you there to assist Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis with their writing. I want you to assist them. So so we see that, and he did that a lot. And he never again saw Lord Chaitanya. So he was only like that, only 11 years old, and never saw him again. But then finally, when his parents did leave, he went to Vrindavan, and Rupa and Sanatan was so happy to receive him because Mahaprabhu had instructed them. He said, there's a nice boy, he's going to come here sometime, named Gopal Bhatta. So when he comes, I want you to treat him like a brother and shower your affection on him and let him assist you. And he told them to treat Jiva Goswami like a son. Well, Jiva is their biological nephew as well. So like a brother. So when he came, they were so happy, and they wrote a letter to Lord Chaitanya, and in Puri, like how long, no mail system, like now in 1 second you send a message, right? And there, even in our lifetime, right, there was snail mail only when we were young, most of us, and then telephones, like in India, they'd have 1 telephone in the whole temple, and it would take sometimes hours, or you had to wait in line, but even out of the temple, I mean, it was so slow. So one person had to carry a letter all the way to Lord Chaitanya and tell him that Gopal has arrived in Vrindavan, that his parents have left and he's there now. And Lord Chaitanya became so happy to hear that. And he said, okay, I want you to bring these gifts to him. He gave him 3 gifts. Bring these to Gopal Bhatta. So one was his seat, his very little wooden asana that Lord Chaitanya used to sit on to chant japa and to speak. He gave him his seat. He gave him his cloth, like a chadar, and he gave him, what was the other thing? Anyone remember? And then one other thing. Anyone remember? His neck beads, was that it? Wooden neck beads. Anyway, I'll probably come across it. That was Raghunath Das Goswami. So anyway, I'll remember in a little bit. Maybe what happened to maybe I wrote it down. Let's see. Okay, so we'll get to that. So now he goes, and he always had such an attitude of meekness and humility. And when Krishnadas Kaviraj, do you know that Krishnadas Kaviraj also never met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in person? Like we see, I thought, wow, we are so fortunate. We have so many biographies of Srila Prabhupada, and more are coming out, as we speak. More devotees are writing their memoirs, and we have firsthand information, firsthand experiences of their association. And whereas now, so many of these biographies, they say one person says this, one person says that, and sometimes it's a little ambiguous and all. But now, but yet, Krishnadas Kaviraj got that order from the deity that he should go to Vrindavan and he should write Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he did not have that personal association, so he depended fully on the biographies of Mahaprabhu's associates. Like now, if someone was to write another biography of Prabhupada, they would glean information from the many dozens of books about Srila Prabhupada and devotees' encounters. So he asked him, Gopal Bhatta, he said, to please, give me information of your association. He said, only if you will not mention my name. And he said, okay, I won't. So we know, very, very cautiously he did. And so so he assisted, the Sat Sandarbhas by Jiva Goswami, the most prolific of all of the Goswamis who wrote so many books. And so they were, all these Sandarbhas, they were taken from the notes of many devotees, of different Vaishnavas, and they were scattered. In the beginning of the Tattva Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami writes, I received all these scattered notes, and then one Bhatta, yes, he can't mention his name, but it's Gopal Bhatta, one Bhatta has organized them all so that these books can be written now. So he was like that, just a humble servant, behind the scenes, and he prepared all the notes, and he also compiled Sat Kriya Sara Deepika, which I'm not sure what it's really about. And he also wrote a commentary himself on Bilva Mangala Thakur's Krishna Karnamrita. And so it says he edited the Hari Bhakti Vilas as well. Now, he didn't have a lot of disciples, but there's three that are mentioned. Like later on, Rupa and Sanatan, they told him, you have to initiate. We're not initiating, right? And Lokanath Goswami only had one disciple, Narottam, but Sanatan and Rupa did not initiate. They said, so you should initiate. And they said, why do you think Mahaprabhu sent you his seat? That's the seat for you to sit and give initiation. And so, of course, he was very reluctant to do it, and then he was ordered that he should go to the western part of India and accept disciples, and then somebody else on the eastern. So among his disciples were the very famous Srinivas Acharya. So that was his direct disciple. And then one other was Gopinath Pujari, because there was a Brahmin that when he went to visit the town, Gopal went to visit Sharanpur, which is near Hardwar. He met a very simple, devoted Brahmin, engaged, and he served Gopal Bhatta in a very humble way. And Gopal Bhatta knew that he really wanted, he had no children and he wanted to have a son. So then Gopal Bhatta knew that, and he blessed him. He told him, "You will have a devotionally minded son." And so then he said, "Well, if I do, then I will give him to you as your servant." And sure enough, he did. He had a son, and when he was a little grown up, probably like 12 or 13, he sent him to serve Gopal Bhatta, and Gopal Bhatta trained him to worship his deity, which we will come to now. But also Gopinath, he had a younger brother named Damodar, and Damodar wanted to join his brother and serve Gopal Bhatta. So his brother came too and became the disciple of Gopal Bhatta. And then later on, he asked, Gopal Bhatta said, "Okay, I want you," Gopinath, he was lifelong pujari. And also, Mahaprabhu had told this Brahmin, your son, don't get him married, and actually Lord Chaitanya told Venkata Bhatta, don't get your son married because he's a renunciate at heart. Even though he was 11 years old, he said, he had great plans for him. And so same with this boy. So Gopinath, he trained him in pujari, and then he said, I want you, Gopal Bhatta said, I want you to get married because I have no children. And then when I die, we don't want the worship of Radharaman to fall into other hands. We want to keep it in our line. So I want you to get married and have children. He said, I don't want to get married, but why don't we let my brother Damodar, he can do it. So Damodar, he got married and he had children, and his descendants even now are engaged in the worship in the Radharaman temple. The thing is, I remembered the other item, unusual item, a kopin. Lord Chaitanya sent his kopin as one of the gifts. So you think, wow, that's very strange, but it's stated that that by accepting this Mahaprasadam, it frees one of lust. Just like Lord Chaitanya, he took Lord Nityananda's kopin and he tore it into shreds, and he told each devotee, all the men, to put it around your head and you'll be free of lust, So there's some kind of potency there. So now, Lord Chaitanya appeared again it's getting very late. He appeared in a dream, and he said, soon that you should go. He told him to go to the Gandaki River, and they had to go through the mountains of Nepal to get there, and so there you will find Krishna, because he used to meditate. The other Goswamis, they all worshipped deities, and so he went to the river, and then when he went to take a palmful of water to offer to the river there in the Gandaki River, there was a shalagram there, because Mahaprabhu told him, there you will go and find your deity. And he took him to his heart, and he said, this is my Radharaman. And then he got 11 more shalagrams that came very easily to him, and he worshipped them every day. and he just built a little basket for them out of twigs, kind of like a straw basket, but a twig basket, and that's where the shalagram stayed. And so there was a rich merchant, and he came to Vrindavan because all the other Goswamis had Radha Krishna deities, and they used to dress them so nicely. And he thought, oh, how I wish I could have a deity to dress like that. And he meditated that the Lord told him, don't worry, your shalagram will be a deity. And so every day he's waiting, when is my shalagram going to be a deity? Because, and then especially when this very wealthy merchant came and gifted all of the Goswamis, all for their deities, very nice jewels and nice silk cloth to make outfits for them, and they were all dressing them, and he thought, oh, I wish I can do that. And in his mind, he meditated, and Mahaprabhu told him, you will get, Krishna will manifest there. And he meditated on the face of Rupa Goswami's Govindaji temple, and then the chest of Gopinath of Madhu Pandit, the feet of Madan Mohan, Sanatan Goswami's deity, and he meditated, that's what my deity's going to look like. And then sure enough, one morning when he goes to open his, it's called a pittari, his little basket, there was Radha Raman. So some say, one very famous author, he wrote that this is the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya because Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna combined. So this Radha Raman, he appeared and he has no Radha next to him. Why do we call him Radha Raman? So it's understood like Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna, so he could be a manifestation because he so much wanted the darshan of Mahaprabhu, so here in his deity. So now we know that this, and he was so happy to dress Radharaman, and they have next to him a veil that, signifying that Srimati Radharani is there as well. And so we, even though he established deity worship also, taught deity worship, and yet Radharaman temple is rather small and in a rather obscure place. Well, now Loy Bazaar is a very busy place, but and the thing is that I think Krishna Balaram Mandir is the most, isn't it, well-attended temple in Vrindavan. But next to that, or perhaps even more, I'm not sure, the Radharaman temple is very, very well attended. Many people go there, even though it's small, and the deities are Radharaman small, and the altar's small, and the whole temple room. But there's so much devotion there. In the beginning of when we, installed our Krishna Balaram, Radhasham Sundar, Gaur Nitai, Prabhupada told the devotees to go and learn at the Radharaman temple, learn from them their method of worship, because they have very nice worship. And we have a wonderful relationship with the Radharaman Sevaks, the ones who care for the deities there. And it's always been a very harmonious relationship, even when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta was barred from entering the temples. His disciples were barred because they're not born in Brahmin families. And but yet, at that time, the leader of the Radharaman temple, he, organized a kind of mediation between the leaders of those other temples and allowed them to understand that these are devotees, these disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta, in spite of their not being born in Brahmin families, they are still devotees and, quoted the scriptures and all that. So very wonderful. And we know Srinivasacharya, his main disciple, he wrote the Sad Goswam Astikam, where we can understand the glories of the Goswamis, including Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So there's a minute or two left. Anybody have any additions or comments you'd like to make about Gopal Bhatta Goswami? Oh, one more thing, which I found quite amusing, that so Gopal Bhatta, Srinivasacharya, Shamananda, and Narottam, they were all expert. They studied dance, drama, and music. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what kind of dance they did, like classical dance. Did they do Bharatanatyam? Did they do, Odissi dance? Like, what kind of dance? I found that quite interesting. And they formed, actually, they were like the beginning, like now it's very prevalent. There's Rasa Leela performed by men actors in Vrindavan regularly. And they did that. They traveled, especially Srinivas, Shamananda, and Narottam, who, the next generation, they actually did drama and traveled around Vrindavan. So if anybody knows anything more about their dance, that would be very amazing to see them and their drama and their music. So, Jai Hari Bol. Anything else? And, okay, I like to use every minute to glorify. But it's amazing how the Lord fulfilled his desires to have his darshan. So, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And it's his disappearance day. He disappeared in 1586, exactly 100 years after the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was 85 years old, and his samadhi is right behind the Radharaman temple, and we can visit there when we visit Vrindavan and pray for his mercy. Thank you, really. Considering that he's the least.
You've got a lot of stuff there. You know, I think the most.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Kanvandamaravindalayataksam Varhamatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami priti manti, pasyanti vanti kayanti, chiram naganti, ananda chinmaya sadhu, jala vigrahasya, govindam, ani purusham, amaham bhajami, 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 govindam, ani purusham.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Namani Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Macha Negi Nivesesha Shunyavani Masyacha Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Jai Tana Prabhu Nityananda Jidvaita Gadada Sivasati Gauramakta Brahma Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Jidvaita Jaya Shri Krishna Nityananda Prabhu Nityananda Jidvaita Gadada Sivasati Gauramakta Brahma Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jidvaita Gadada Sivasati Gauramakta Brahma Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Goloka Nana Rana Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Goloka Nana Rana Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Hey Radhe Jaya Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radhe 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 Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Acharya Sataji Shrimad Divine Rabbi Sharada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Radha Krishna, Raghunath, Sanskrit, Radha Kiri, Govardhan, Vijay, Ram, Vijay, Churam, Chandra Swami, Vijay, Shimon Vilasi Devi, Samve Bhakta, all glory is from all glory is to Son, all glory is to all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
We were really happy to see Lochan here today. Lochan Prabhu Ki Jai. Haribo. Chaito Darbana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam. Thank you. Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Hamitasmaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Natmanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadishakamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavadad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Harinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishameva Vambuddha Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sajashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galashu Daraya Varanam Gadguru Daya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlisha Padamritam Adarshanam Marmatakarotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Pato Mat Prananatastu Saevanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction living beings. And you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid in all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causes, devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth.